And in the last Google update, what Google have been doing is they've been ranking Quora and Reddit articles much higher in the search engine results pages. And that's because they've got a preference for user-generated content. So before, when we used to outrank the likes of Quora and Reddit, now it's extremely difficult to do so. The most important thing I want you to take away from this video is you need to provide context for the outline to write a much better outline than the competition is. That's why it's always a good idea to have a look at the search results before you start writing your article, because what worked before with a lot of question/answer articles doesn't really work so much anymore. Now, the idea here is to be the most helpful content on this particular topic. Now, if you're struggling to rank your articles on Google, this video here could change everything. I'm going to show you step by step how to rank articles on Google and be ahead of most of ChatGPT articles. I'm going to show you the tools and the different techniques I use, even if you've never written an article before. Now, ironically, I'm not sponsored by OpenAI, but I will show you how to use ChatGPT much different from everybody else. Now stick around to the very end, because I'm going to be going over a video that Neil Patel was discussing how to write articles and how you can actually do it better. So the first thing on the list when we're looking to write an article that's better than most ChatGPT articles is keyword research, but we're going to get a little bit sneaky here. Now the main idea here is we're looking for keywords that people are actually searching for in Google, and they generally tend to be long tail keywords. Now the main thing we're looking for when we're doing keyword research is to find things that people are actually searching for in Google. This will give us a leg up over our competitors. Now there are a lot of keyword tools you can use, and most of them are actually free. For example, you can use Answer Socrates here, you can use Keyword Sheeter, or you can even use a keyword tool like keyword.io. I generally like using Answer Socrates because it's very similar to Answer the Public, but again, it's totally free. So we're going to start with a very broad keyword, and for this, it can be any keyword you like. Now, I'm very much interested in Tesla, so let's just use that as a keyword. Wouldn't you know it, the keyword tool that I wanted to use for this video isn't working at the moment, so let's try a different one. The next one we're going to try is Keyword Sheeter. So just type in your keyword there and then just click on Sheet Keywords. So what this does, this brings up a variety of different keyword searches that people have been putting into Google for that main keyword. I'll also show you how to do this in Keyword.io as well. So we're going to use the same keyword, and you've got a choice here. You can either open up a free account, or you just scroll to the bottom here where it says no thanks and just click on there, and you can basically still use this tool for free without actually opening an account. Now, once you've found a keyword tool that you want to use, you then want to actually put that into Google. I found this one, which is how do Tesla batteries stay cool? So I'm going to do a Google search for that. And as you can see, we've got a featured snippet here. So what we're looking for really is we're looking for question answer articles within Google search. So we need to assess what the competition is like and make sure these are question article type articles. Now there are two types of articles. You've either got question stroke answer type articles, or you've got an article that has a broad array of different topics within the article. And for this particular search on how do Tesla batteries stay cool, we have quite a lot of question answer stroke articles. But if we look for another search term, which is basically are Tesla Model 3 good cars, we can see that the vast majority of these articles are actually review articles. So it wouldn't be a good idea to write a question article for this particular keyword. That's why it's always a good idea to have a look at the search results before you start writing your article, because what worked before with a lot of question stroke answer articles doesn't really work so much anymore. So what you want to try and do going forward is write a broad article, but answer the main keyword that you actually chose within the article. Now, one of the main reasons for this is there are so many ChatGPT articles online now that the Google have to selectively choose which article they're going to rank. And if you think about it, it's much easier for Google to rank articles that have a much broader appeal rather than specific question answer type articles. And in the last Google update, what Google have been doing is they've been ranking Quora and Reddit articles much higher in the search engine results pages. And that's because they've got a preference for user-generated content. So before, when we used to outrank the likes of Quora and Reddit, now it's extremely difficult to do so. So if you put your keyword into Google and you're seeing quite a few question/answer articles ranking above Quora and Reddit, then I'd advise you can still write an article on that. But if you see Quora and Reddit at the very top of the search results, I'd recommend going for a more broader strategy. Also, if you are going to write a question/answer article, just look at the actual websites that you're going up against, because you will find if they've got a very, very high domain authority, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to rank. So it might be better to choose a different keyword to try and rank for. So since most of the domains aren't high domain authorities, I think this is still a good idea to write this article. So next, we need to analyze the competition for this article. In essence, we want to look to see what they're doing and try and do better. We need to create valuable content that covers the user's intent. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to see what special features each article has within their article. This is because we want to rank higher in Google's HC, which is their helpful content update. Now, the idea here is to be the most helpful content on this particular topic. That means we need to have resources like videos, tables, downloads, infographics, quotes, statistics, and social media embeds. And even more importantly, we need to have quality images within our content. Now, when we talk about images, I'm talking about unique images that have never been seen before online before. And the reason why this is so important is Google will prefer to use images and put images within their search that have never been seen before. So in order to analyze the competition, we need to look at several things. We need to look at whether it's first a question answer article, whether it has a featured snippet, how many images it has, how many videos it has on their page, the tables, FAQs, external links, internal links, and then you can have a notes column at the very end here. Now, I've chosen the top 10. You can use 5, you can use 10, you can use 15, but I think 10 articles, our competing articles, are probably the best way to analyze this. Now, if you haven't got a spreadsheet like this, what I'll do is I'll actually put this within the description of the video so you can actually use this for your own competitive analysis of websites you're going up against. So if you're writing an article now, you really do need to have some of these special features within your article. Otherwise, your content is just not going to rank. The next thing we need to do is we need to provide ChatGPT context of the article. What most people do is they use ChatGPT for everything. They use it for the keyword research, they use it to write the outline, and they also use it to write the actual article. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're just going to use it to write the outline and the article, but what we're going to do first is we're going to provide some context for the article. This means providing ChatGPT with the most up-to-date data that we can. Now, one of the best tools or websites you can use is called Perplexity AI, and I always start off with this before I even start writing an outline for the article. What we're going to do is we're going to plug in the keyword here and just let Perplexity do its thing. Now, the great thing about Perplexity.ai is it gives you the most accurate data, and it also gives you citations of where it's drawn that information from. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy what's written here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put it into a notepad, and this is going to form part of the outline. So just get rid of the citations. So the information on how do Tesla batteries stay cool, we want to see if there's any more information that we could also use. And as you can see at the bottom here, we've got some related questions. So what we can do, we can have a read through these questions and see if we want to use more information to form part of our outline. So we've got here, what is the impact of temperature on lifespan of Tesla battery? Let's have a look at this one. Gives us more information here. Again, what I'm going to do is going to copy to clipboard, and we're going to put this into the notepad as well and remove these citations. So you can see what we're doing here. We're basically gathering a lot of context for our outline, which would then help us write the article. So there are several reasons why we want to do this for our article. The very first one is accuracy, because even though AI content can create content very, very quickly, sometimes it tends to hallucinate and it tends to make things up. The second reason is credibility. If you can cite the resources that you're actually getting the information from, or you make sure that the content is actually accurate. So it's going to provide a lot more credibility for your article, and also the people reading it would actually find it credible. What you're also going to find is the structure of your article outline is going to be different to what most people are actually writing using ChatGPT. One of the other things we're going to do that's different from what most people are doing using ChatGPT is we're going to provide a demographic for our article, because I've always found that ChatGPT writes slightly differently if you can actually provide it with a demographic for the article. Now, obviously, you can use whatever prompt you like. You can even use the one that I'm going to use, but to find the demographic, I just do a simple search within ChatGPT to find the actual demographic for the article. So I'm just going to put my prompt in here and then let ChatGPT do its thing. And I will say as well, it doesn't matter whether you're using 3.5 or 4.0, the results are going to be very, very similar when we're talking about writing a demographic for your article. So what it's done, it's given us a nice little demographic of who the article is actually for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this down up until here. And then I'm going to also put this within the notepad that we did earlier. So before we even start writing the article, we've got the demographic and we've also got the context from Perplexity. Now, when you're crafting your outline, you can just ask ChatGPT to write you an outline, but I like to give it as much context as possible. Like I've said before, to write a much better outline, and it's going to be so much different from the other article outlines that are already out there. So what I've done is I've actually put the title of the article here. I'm basically just explaining to ChatGPT that's an informational article to use category buckets, which basically means if it was a step-by-step or if it was a numbered article, it would basically put a category before that and actually number the actual points after that. You don't have to put that, but that's something I like to put in, again, just to differentiate and try to organize the article in a way that Google understands it. I also put in the target audience here, which is as above. So basically, if you are using a new chat, then you need to paste in all of this within your prompt, but I've already got this, so I've just said as above. And then lastly, what we want to do is we want to grab the Perplexity content. So I'm just going to grab that now, just grab all of this, copy that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to paste it in between. We're going to paste it in between these brackets just here. And then for context, I've just written who it is that's actually writing this article as well. And again, this is my prompt. You can use your own prompt. You can put whatever you want in there. The most important thing I want you to take away from this video is you need to provide context for the outline to write a much better outline than the competition is. So we click on send message and let's see what ChatGPT brings up for us. Now, ChatGPT has now written the outline. Now you've got a choice. You can either use the outline it's given you, or you can use the outline it's given you and add your own additional things in, depending on what other people have actually written in their article. I'll be honest with you, most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, I use the article outline that's basically been supplied by ChatGPT. And I only do that is because I don't want my article to be exactly like someone else's. I don't want the outline to be very, very similar. I want to answer the actual user intent, and that's why I've given ChatGPT as much context as possible in order to answer the intent of the article. So this is the outline here. So this is really, really good. So I'm quite happy to use this. So if you're happy with your outline, let's write the article. And we're going to get ChatGPT literally just to write the article. I use a prompt, but again, you can use your own prompt in order to do this. So you can just say to ChatGPT, please write this article. But I like to provide even more context of how I want it to actually craft the article. So I use another prompt, and I'll put it in the description below, just to provide a bit more context of how I want Google to actually write the article based on the outline it's already given us. So I've filled in all the details into the prompt, and then I just click on send message again. And now what ChatGPT is going to do is going to start writing the article based on the outline and the context I've given it. Now the article is actually done. So what I'm going to do is going to copy this and I'm going to put it into something called HTML Cleaner. Now you've got a choice. You can either put this into Shopify if you're using Shopify as your blog platform, or you can put it in WordPress. It's completely up to you. I just personally like to put it into HTML Cleaner so I can kind of visualize what it is I've actually got, make my edits, and then publish it on one of those platforms. So this is the article written here. It's used all the information I gave it before in the outline, okay, It's used the context, and it's actually written the actual article using the context of what I gave it before. So I know that the content within the article is 100% accurate because I've got it from Perplexity previously. What most people do is they let ChatGPT write the whole thing, and it starts imagining, it starts hallucinating, it starts writing things and being creative. You don't want it to be creative when you're talking about a factual article. You want it to be 100% correct, and that's the reason why we use Perplexity initially. So now we've got our article, whether it's in WordPress or Shopify or in HTML Cleaner, if you want to copy the way that I do it. We now need to start editing this article to make sure it's actually better than the other articles that are actually out there. So now that we've got our article in HTML Cleaner or Shopify or WordPress, we now need to start editing it to make sure it's much better than the other articles that are already out there. And the very first thing I do is I change the introduction of the article. Because what you will find is ChatGPT, if you've got another 10 articles that are already written on this topic, you'll find that the introductions are very, very similar because ChatGPT just basically guesses the next word after that. So you're going to have 10 articles, if they're ChatGPT articles, that all look very similar regarding the introductions they actually use. So what we want to do is we want to craft our own introduction to obviously entice the reader to read more of the article. So for the intro, I like to do an intro that's much different to other ChatGPT articles. I like to use an introduction that entices the reader to read more. And the introduction I personally use is the PAIPS copywriting formula. And I'll leave a link explaining exactly how that actually works. So the PAIPS copywriting framework is problem, agitate, intrigue, positive future, and solution. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get ChatGPT to rewrite the introduction so it entices the reader and ensure it's a much different introduction than the other multiple hundreds and thousands of articles that are using the same ChatGPT introduction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the prompt in here. And like I said, you don't have to use this. You can keep it exactly the same as what everyone else is using. I just like to have a nice enticing intro to encourage people to read more of the article. So I'm going to put my prompt in here, going to put in the original. And again, you can use any copywriting framework you want for the intro. I'm using the PAIPS copywriting solution for my intro, but you can use whatever you want. So just click send message and let's see what it comes up with. So there's my intro. So just copy that down there. Again, you can make edits within HTML Cleaner or within Shopify or WordPress. I'm going to put that in there. So now my intro is completely different to any other ChatGPT article out there. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an FAQ to our ChatGPT article, which is what most articles don't do. And the reason why we want to do this is we want to cover as much intent as possible while also trying to go for more keywords within the SERPs. So at this point, you can just ask ChatGPT to write you an FAQ, but I want to try and give it a little bit more context of what I want it to write. So for that, I'm going to provide ChatGPT with another prompt, but I also want to give it the demographic again. Bearing in mind, I've already given it the demographic further up, but what ChatGPT generally tends to do is tends to forget a lot of things that happened a lot further up. So what I'm going to do is going to ask it to write some FAQs for that demographic for this article. So I'm going to grab the demographic again, which is here, which we got earlier from our notepad, and I'm going to place it within my prompt. And you've got a choice as well. You can either ask for 2 FAQs, 3 FAQs. I think 4 is a nice even round number, but you can use as many as you want. You can do even longer, whether it's 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. I just like 4 as a round number. Click send message again, and then I'm going to get ChatGPT to actually craft me some FAQs. One of the most important things that you also need to ask it to do is to craft FAQs that have not been answered within the article, because what a lot of FAQs do is they ask questions that have already been answered within the article. You don't want to do this. You want unique content, and you want to create content that hasn't been spoken about before within the article. So what you will need to do is just double check, have a read through these articles just to make sure that they haven't been spoken about before in the article. So the first question is, what other electric vehicle brands use advanced cooling mechanisms similar to Tesla? I know we haven't spoken about that before. Do all vehicles require such intricate cooling systems? We've not spoken about that. How often do Tesla cooling systems need maintenance or replacement? We haven't spoken about that. And again, the last one, are there any aftermarket modifications available to enhance the cooling of Tesla batteries? I can pretty much guarantee we've not spoken about that, but you want to go through your FAQs and make sure that you haven't covered that content previously. So I'm absolutely happy with that. So I'm going to copy these down and then place them into HTML Cleaner. So as part of the editing process, we've rewritten the intro and we've added FAQs. This is already much more than what other articles or what other ChatGPT articles are actually writing. So what we're also going to do is we're going to try and get the featured snippet as well. Now, obviously, you can only do this if the search term actually has a featured snippet. But what you want to do is you want to make sure it has the same snippet as what's ranking. So at the moment, we've got a paragraph that is ranking as the featured snippet. You might actually see different types of snippets, whether it's a table, whether it's an image, whether it's a video, whatever is ranking for the featured snippet, you need to do exactly the same here. There's no point trying to rank the table if a paragraph is ranking within the SERPs. Now, the secret to getting featured snippets is to write something very similar, but make it a lot more refined to what's already available. So if we look at the existing featured snippet, we can see that it's actually highlighted liquid cooling in their battery packs. So we want to ensure that in our prompt, it actually includes that within the snippet, but we want to make sure it's a lot more refined than the actual snippet that you actually see here. So I'm going to whack my prompt into ChatGPT. I also like to put a little box around it or even just highlight it. Again, that's completely up to you. But in order to try and get our article to rank, it's also a good idea to try and rank for the featured snippet as well. Okay, so I've got my piece of code here. I'm just going to actually copy that and then put that into my HTML cleaner. Just going to paste that in there, and then I'm just going to bold this as well. All right, so this is our way of trying to get the feature snippet as well. So we've got our intro, which is different to all the other GPT articles. We've got our featured snippet here. Again, you don't need to put it in a box or no, you don't need to put it into a box. You don't need to do anything special other than maybe just highlighting it. And in most cases, you don't even have to do any of that at all. You just make sure that you cover the question very, very early on within the article. We've got the article just here, and then also we've got our FAQs at the very bottom as well. So at the moment, we're giving our article as much chance to rank as possible compared to the other ChatGPT articles already out there. So the next thing we're going to look at is adding more keywords within the article, because the more keywords that you can add that are relevant to the article, the more chance it's got of ranking for those keywords, if that makes sense. And I do this by adding LSI keywords into the article. Now, there's been a lot of debate about this, about people saying that it doesn't really matter whether you use LSI keywords or not. If you want to understand what LSI means, it means Lemantic Semantic Indexing. In essence, these are just words related to the main keyword, that's all. And like I said, there's been a big debate of whether to use these or not and whether it matters. I personally like to use them, and I think it just gives our articles a better advantage of obviously ranking for different keywords related to the main keyword. But it's completely up to you whether you do it or not. I personally like to do it for our articles. Now, it's up to you how many LSI keywords you want to use. I generally use a couple of articles, but you can use 4 or 5 and combine the LSI keywords. It's completely up to you how you do it. I just personally like to use a couple of articles. For this example though, I'm just going to use the top one, which is power battery. Now, in order to get these LSI keywords, I use a free plugin called Harper.ai. You can use a vast majority of tools. You can even use paid tools to get LSI keywords, but this one is a lot easier to use. It's free, and it's what most SEO guys use if they're looking to add in LSI keywords within the article. So in order to use Harper AI, if you haven't got it already, just grab the free plugin just there, add it to Chrome, and then you can start using it. Now, I'm not going to go into the full details and what you can do with Harper AI. I'm just going to show you the way I get LSI keywords from an article. So it's literally, we're on the top ranking article here, which is power battery. And once you've actually downloaded Harper AI, you just click Alt-A, and it brings up a nice little chat box here that you can start using Harper AI to find the LSI keywords. There's many other things you can do. You can summarize the article, you can get bullet points of what the article is about. But in this instance, what we want to do is just grab the LSI keywords. And the way you do that is just put a / here and then type in EXT, which brings up extract and research SEO keywords. We'll click on that, and what it will do then, it will start, actually you need to press return here. It will start then grabbing all the LSI keywords related to the article. And this is the list it gives you here. So this is the table of keywords and LSI keywords for this particular article here. And again, if you want to do it for several other articles, you can do this. Just press Alt-A or go to the website, click Alt-A, and then you can get the LSI keywords yourself. You can either copy it like this, or there is actually a copy button there. And what I like to do is I like to copy it and then put it within our document here as well. So I like to put the LSI keywords within the document just here. And what we're going to do is we're going to inject those keywords into the article. So once you put the LSI keywords, you can then ask ChatGPT to add those keywords within the article. Now, if you want to use my prompt, I'll leave it in the description of this video. So here's my prompt here. I'm just going to replace what this says here and then put in my own LSI keywords and then click on send message. So what ChatGPT has done then is it's highlighted all of the LSI keywords that I copied in, and it's incorporated it within certain parts of my article. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to add these edits into the original article. Right, so here's my article here. So I've got my rewritten intro just there. I've got the featured snippet here, which I showed you how to do. And then what I've done is I've added those LSI keywords within the article. Now, again, like I said, there's a lot of debate about this. Whether you use it or not, it's completely up to you. I tend to do it with a lot of my articles. And what I've asked ChatGPT to do as well is actually highlight those LSI keywords so I can read through to make sure that it reads properly. So once you've actually got the LSI keywords in there, you can either keep them highlighted, or you can take out the bold highlights of the LSI keywords. And it's quite easy to do this in HTML Cleaner. Just click on bold twice. Just highlight the section and then just click on bold twice. There you go. And that's what it looks like once you've removed all the bold keywords within the article. So we briefly covered featured snippets. So when you write an article, make sure that you're going for the right featured snippet. And as we can see, for the main one, we've got a paragraph snippet here. If you're going for the keyword how to change a car tire, you see how that this snippet is actually different for this search result. So here we've got like what we call a listicle, so a list of items of how to do something. In order to get this type of feature snippet, you need to put a table within your article in order to rank your table as a featured snippet. And this one's a little bit different. How to use the Tesla key card. You can see that even though it's a paragraph at the very top, what Google's basically saying is for this search result, it'd be really great if you could have videos within the content. Not only is it good for ranking on YouTube, but it's also good for ranking within the SERPs as well. So again, when you're actually typing in a keyword and you want to write an article based on that keyword, have a look at the search results to see what is actually ranking as the featured snippet, because there's no point in trying to get a featured snippet as a paragraph if a video is actually ranking, and vice versa. And lastly, what most people leave out, and the vast majority of people posting ChatGPT content will do, is they don't promote their articles. So once you've actually published your article, you want to start promoting it. And one of the main ways of doing that is actually sharing it on social media. So on the likes of x.com, Facebook, Instagram. You can also write a guest post and then link back to your article from the guest post. Or you can produce a YouTube video like I spoke about earlier for the featured snippets. You can produce a video on the very same topic as your article, and then again within the description of your video or your YouTube video, you link back to your article. So again, it's another form of promotion. You can pin your article to Pinterest, or you could answer a question within Reddit or Quora. But if I'm going to be very honest, very few of you are going to either use the Pinterest or the Quora/Reddit strategy. Now, the reason why it's a really good idea to promote your articles, because what you want to do is you want to send positive signals to Google to say that your article has been shared in lots of different places. And then what you're hoping for is is for other people to then in turn share your article based on what you've actually written on the social media platforms. As well as doing the external promotion, you also want to do the internal promotion as well. And by internal promotion, I mean linking other articles to your article. Now, as well as external promotion, you also want to internally link your article as well. And that's a way of internally promoting it. So if you've got other articles that are very similar or are relevant to the article that you've just written, what you do is you place a link within the article back to the one that you've just written, and that's kind of like a form of internal promotion. And this is a topic that many people are talking about all through social media. Let's have a look at this post from Niche Site Lady. She's basically saying, my view is that EEAT is an off-page factor. It comes from product appearances, awards, accreditations, LinkedIn, publishing books, writing for big brands, which kind of like guest posting. It doesn't come from writing experience or putting travel writer on your about page. And what she's basically trying to say is you want to have your article mentioned in as many different places as possible in order to increase the EEAT. Now, if you just post ChatGPT articles without doing all the additions, all the little features that I've spoken about, it's going to be very, very hard to rank your article. And even people like Neil Patel have been talking about this.
Blog posts are the best SEO strategy today. I need to sneeze, but I'm holding it. So let me show you this post from LinkedIn. So this guy, Peter Caputa, CEO of DataBox, so he said this. So the other day, an agency owner told me they were going to ramp up their content production for their own marketing from 4 to 8 articles per month. This is the exact advice I used to give in 2010. Publish more blog posts to get more search traffic. The problem, it doesn't work anymore. Neil, you want to read some of these?
All right, so instead of going down all of these, I would actually tell you what I would do. I do think writing more content isn't a bad idea if you have already really good SEO traffic. If you have no SEO traffic, you're going to have to write blog posts too. But I would actually look at it a very different way. I would actually look at it based on your authority. If you have low domain authority, call it 20, 30, 40, even 50, which isn't that high, I would figure out what free tools you can offer on your website to naturally build links. And you've seen this. You've done the analysis on this, Eric. What are my most popular link pages on my site?
Ubersuggest?
Yep, Ubersuggest. And all my other tools like Answer the Public, Ubersuggest. When you look at how many links free tools get, it blows out of the water any type of content that most people could ever write. So
what Neil's basically saying here is, even though you're writing really good content, sometimes you can add extra features for the whole website that will improve all the articles linked to that website. So in his example, he's using Ubersuggest, which is one of his software tools, one of his keyword tools. He's actually saying, if you can produce tools for your website, it will really help your website gain domain authority, which would then help your articles in the process.
And it just continually builds links. You're continuing to get that residual effect without much work. With content, you get links early on or later if you're manually building them, but like it slows down for those blog posts. While tools, you just keep getting them and they keep generating more and more traffic over time. Second thing I would do is if you already have domain authority and you already have traffic, I would first focus on, and we had an episode on this a few days ago, so make sure you listen to it, updating your content. And what we found is when you focus on updating your content, because there's already enough content on most topics on Google, we found that you generate way more traffic just keeping your old content updated and fresh. Because when someone does a search, they don't want to read something that's a year old or 5 years old. They want to read something that's a week old, 2 weeks old. And this is why Wikipedia ranks for a lot of terms. It's not that it's the best source of content on animals or presidents or whatnot. There's probably a website that has better content on those subjects than Wikipedia. But what Wikipedia does well is they keep their content fresh and up to date.
So this is really great advice from Neil. What you should do is actually keep your content up to date. So Perplexity is a really, really good example of keeping your content up to date. So when you're writing your article, use Perplexity content as context. All right. Then when you're editing it later down the line, whether it's 30 days time, 60 or 90 days time, again, put into your into Perplexity your title and just see if the content that's coming up is actually different from the content that you have on your article. You can also embed social media links like Instagram links, x.com links. You can actually place those within the article as well, or replace ones that you've already got, just to make sure that you keep your content, your article, up to date.
So what we do is we'll go into Google Search Console, look at that page, its traffic, compared to a year ago and compared to 3 months ago. And when we do a comparison to either of those, date points, if the traffic has gone down for either of those date points, we update the content and make it fresh. And when I say update it, we look at who's ranking above us. What do they have that we're not including? We look at that subject and poke holes and figure out, all right, what can we do to make that content about that topic more fresh, up to date, better, more valuable to users? Does it need videos? Does it need more images? How's the conversational tone? We look at literally every aspect to try to improve the content. And then, of course, we do mix in new content as well, whether you have a low domain authority or a high domain authority, because without content, you're just not going to do as well. And not every topic has already been written about, because there's always new things in most industries that you could be writing on.
So put a date in your diary to update your content, because that's another way. By keeping it fresh, you can outrank other GPT content online. Now, I spoke about intros earlier. If you really want to try to master the intros of your articles, I'll leave a card up here that mentions how you can actually improve the intros of your articles, because again, most ChatGPT articles have all the same type of intros. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make our content a much better, differentiate it from the other articles that are actually online, but also entice the reader to read more. So how have you found this? Are these things that you do? Have you found this interesting? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments of this video. So if you've liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.